I'm 85 years old, and I did everything they told me was right. I saved every dollar. I planned for every tomorrow. And now I sit here wondering why I never actually lived. I'm sitting alone at my kitchen table as I say this. The same table my wife and I bought in 1974. The varnish is worn thin where her elbows used to rest. Outside, the world is louder than it used to be, faster. Inside, everything is quiet, except my thoughts. People used to call me disciplined, responsible, smart with money. I believed them, but tonight at 85 years old, I finally understand what that discipline cost me. The past. Before the mistake. I grew up during hard times. I was born in 1940, and by the time I was old enough to remember things, money was already something people whispered about. My father worked with his hands, construction, long days, broken nails. Every Sunday night, he'd sit at the table with a stack of envelopes, counting bills like they might disappear if he looked away too long. Never trust good times, he used to say. They don't last. That sentence lodged itself deep inside me. When I was 22, I got my first real job. Accounting assistant. Nothing glamorous. A gray office. Fluorescent lights that hummed. The smell of burnt coffee. But it was steady, and steady felt safe. I met Sarah when I was 26. She laughed with her whole body, loud, unafraid. She talked about traveling, about seeing oceans she'd only read about. I liked that about her, but it scared me too. When we got married, we promised each other stability. I promised her I'd take care of us. I meant financially. I tracked every expense. I clipped coupons. I said maybe next year so often it became a reflex. Friends bought new cars. I kept mine for 14 years. Coworkers went on cruises. I stayed home and checked our savings balance. Each month, watching that number grow gave me a strange kind of pride. Like I was winning a game no one else was disciplined enough to play. I told myself I was being wise. I told Sarah we'd enjoy life later. The turning point. The choice. It was 1985. I was 45. Sarah stood in the kitchen holding a brochure. Italy, Rome, Florence, Venice. Her finger traced the pictures like she could feel them already. Just 2 weeks, she said. We've never done anything like this. I remember the sound of the refrigerator humming behind her, the smell of dinner cooling on the stove. I remember the number flashing in my head. The cost. I said we should wait. I said the kids' college fund wasn't where it needed to be. I said we could go when things were more secure. She didn't argue. She just folded the brochure carefully and put it in a drawer. That drawer stayed closed for years. There were other moments. Concert tickets, weekend trips, a little house by the lake she loved. Every time I had a reason. Every time it sounded logical. Inside my head, I told myself, you're protecting your family, you're being responsible. What I didn't hear was the quiet disappointment growing between us. The consequences. The realization. Time doesn't announce itself when it passes. It just slips by while you're busy planning. The kids grew up. Sarah's laugh softened. Her steps slowed. In 2008, she got sick. Cancer doesn't care about your savings account. I sat beside her hospital bed, holding her hand. It felt smaller than I remembered. One night, she looked at me and smiled. Not sad, just tired. You know, she said, I always thought we'd get to see Italy. That was it. No anger, no blame. Just a fact. That could never be changed. She passed away 3 months later. After the funeral, I went home and opened that old drawer. The brochure was still there. Edges yellowed, pages stuck together. I sat at the table and cried in a way I never had before. Not loud, just deep. All that money I saved, and not a single memory that could replace the ones we never made. The wisdom. Now I'm 85. My house is paid off, my accounts are full, and my days are empty. I eat breakfast alone. I walk past rooms filled with things I thought would matter. Money is supposed to buy security, but it doesn't buy mornings with someone you love. It doesn't buy laughter echoing down a foreign street. It doesn't buy time. If I could speak to my younger self, I wouldn't say, save less. I'd say, live more, because one day you'll realize the cost wasn't the money you spent. It was the life you postponed. I thought I was preparing for the future, but the future came anyway. And it didn't ask permission. If you're watching this and telling yourself someday, please listen to me. Someday is fragile. Call someone you love, book the trip, say yes while you still can. I can't go back, but you still have time. And if this story stayed with you, stay here. There's more wisdom to share before time runs out for all of us.